Best of r/Tales from Tech Support episode 48. It happened at least 15 years ago, but it still is one of my favorite story of IT. At this time I was 16 year old and I was a trainee in an IT shop, and our job was mostly to reboot computer, tell people they are moron without angering them, and selling the brand new Liverbox from Wanadoo, an internet provider in France. It was the apparition of ADSL and a big jump from the 56k. Today it's pretty easy to open a line and get internet. But at that time, it was another story. Enter the guy, a guy in his 40, tall, well dressed. First contact looked like a businessman. "Hi, I want internet for my home. Can you arrange that?" "Sure thing. We can provide you with your own modem and install it at your home, or we can give you a Liverbox." Then you have the usual talk telling them what a box is, what are the advantage compared to a modem. Spoiler alert, at this time, none. Looks great, I take that. How much time does it gonna take? Maximum 2 weeks for the technician to open the line, and we gonna call you when it's done and you can come take your box here and your id/password. But be aware that you have 2 days to cancel for free. After that it gonna cost you because they gonna have to go back and undo what they already did. Okay, it's all good. Then he leave and we call Wanadoo for a new internet line. 2 weeks later, we call the guy. Says he gonna come right now, but sound way less enthusiast. When he arrive, we drop the massive package of his new box on the desk and look at him with our seller smile. "But, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cancel." "I'm sorry to hear that, but you know it gonna cost you an extra $100 at least. Can't you do it for free, please?" "Sorry, but it's not us who gonna do it, it's the provider, so I can't do that. You have to do it, please. It's an emergency." "Listen, I'm gonna call my contact from the provider and ask him, okay, but if he say no, then it's no." I call the support guy with an IT special number, so I already know the support guy. "Wanadoo, what can I do for you?" "Hey, yeah, it's me. Call you about the client XXXX. "Oh yeah, his line is up. Is everything okay?" "No, he want to cancel." "Well, we can do it, but that gonna cost him." "Yeah, he know, but he asked us to do it for free because it's an emergency." "What kind?" I put the speaker on and ask the guy what is the problem. He look at me, then to the ground, and then say, "My mommy don't wanna." At this right instant I feel I broke 3 of my rib while trying to not laugh. My boss didn't sucked, and neither the support guy. With tears in my eyes and some difficulty to talk, I ask the support guy if they can do something. "I don't know, I'm gonna ask my boss." Then for what looks like hours, we listen to the whole hotline office break down and laugh. The guy looks like he want to be buried alive. Then, the big boss pick up the phone. "Yeah, hi, listen, if it's for his mommy, we gonna make an effort." And so they cancelled his line all for free, and they were still laughing when I hang up. And as to when he finally leave, but 1 week later, he come back. "My mom can go fuck herself. I want internet." No need to say we kicked him out. Thank you. Next. This was the other day, but I found it rather adorable. I was working on this lady's computer to help her uninstall and reinstall some software. We uninstalled and subsequently restarted the computer. Once it came back up, this weird message was on the screen that confused me. It was asking for administrator permission to, what looked like, to me, delete the whole bloody OSHDC drive. In my confusion I sort of sat there looking at it, quietly, and she pops in over the phone with just a wonderful, hesitant, and elderly "I'm an administrator if that matters." I couldn't help but laugh. I lightly explained that in our line of work, sadly sometimes what you want the computer to do, even as a user with admin rights, sometimes the computer doesn't care and just says, "Let me speak to your manager." Needless to say, she was the highlight of my day. Even if her computer turned out to have quite a bit of junk on it, we cleaned up afterwards. Thank you. Next. It's been about 2 years since this occurred, and god, I miss messing with this women. I was working on a small post of 5,000 users as a FST. We had this one woman submit a ticket in June stating her laptop was running incredibly slow, new HP 640 G2. I respond to the ticket stating pending, so no one will touch it, and check my work phone. It's 8 AM. I have 6 calls in the last 30 minutes. People started rolling in around 6 AM most days. I finally head to her desk around 10 AM with no call back. She starts off with an attitude which I expected by not calling her back. Give me the rundown of what is occurring, so I sit down and take a look. No less than 40 tabs open in Firefox, just as much in Chrome. Yes, 2 browsers, a bunch of Word documents, a bunch of PDFs in Adobe were open too. It was insane. I'm not even adding in the 4 YouTube tabs open, video running, volume off. I close everything. Explain the laptop can't handle that much open and that's why it's running slow. Leave and close the ticket. Here's the kicker. Come in the next morning, same thing. I take her PC this time and give her a loaner. I receive a ticket for the loaner the next morning. I re-image her computer per her request and return it. Checked my loaner. Same thing. After about a month of this off and on, I accidentally lose her data because I am tired of taking half my day for a data transfer. We aren't responsible for their data. I contact her boss. Well, she now has to have manager approval for any trouble tickets. I have since moved to another state, but she was one of my favorite people because she knew the issue but just didn't give a shit. Also had a guy say his monitors didn't work. Neither were plugged in. Thank you. Next. For context, I work at a small IT shop. I'm pretty young, so I get the occasional jab from people who want to talk to someone in charge, which usually leads to my manager saying the same thing I was saying, but for the most part people are polite. After all, they want help, and I can help them. No need to get riled up over nothing. So 2 older fellows come in today, a quiet one, Q, who was just here to pick up his completed laptop, and a louder one, L, that had driven him. Q, hello. I'm here to pick up my laptop. Naturally he doesn't tell me his name. No one does. They just expect me to use telepathy to figure out which person they are out of dozens of other completed projects. Me, sure, what's the name? L, I have a quick question before that. He slams down a little digital camera on the counter. It's the sort that you have to remove the battery in order to charge it separately. L, I need you to identify the pluggy thingy for charging. Me, yeah, I can do that. L, you some kind of guru? Me, pardon? The question caught me off guard. The timing, the phrasing, all of it. What was I supposed to say? I try not to act better than customers. I try to imply that the reason I do this for a living is because computers have always fascinated me, and as such I've come to understand how they work. Not because I'm a guru or something. L, a guru. You know, a wizard at this stuff. Me, no, I've just got a lot of experience with this sort of thing from troubleshooting my own. L, turns to Q. I bet if you take these kids and drop them back in our time, they'd be bored as sin. Again, I wasn't sure what to do with that. Our time? What the fuck? Me, I think I'd turn out alright. I like tinkering with cars too, so I'm sure I'd find something too. L, oh, yeah? What sort of car do you drive? Me, it's a 1999. L, oh, sure. Now a 30s car, that's a real car. Me, yeah, I've seen some of those. I like. L, now that's the kind of car that takes a real thinker to run. You gotta take altitude into effect, temperature. He starts going on and on about how he's great at working on these older machines and how he flies planes. Asking me all sorts of questions about if I know how much horsepower a plane loses per 1,000 feet, yada yada yada. I stop attempting to respond and just wait in silence for him to finish. It's a tech shop, and a tech subreddit. I'm tired of this guy, the sort of guy that hates himself for how out of date he is, and tries to make up for it by clinging to what made him great in the past. I love old cars. I love old planes. If he had wanted to tell me about his experiences with them while I was ringing up his friend, I would have been more than happy to listen. But using those hobbies as ammo to attack someone who's got a different skill set than him is petty at best, and it makes me sad that people like him are so against trying to learn something new. I see a lot of them in this job, but none as militant as him. I finally managed to get him back on track. I tell him about the battery, how it needs a separate charging cradle to recharge. He struggles to wrap his mind around it, complaining that he should just be able to plug it in. He doesn't want to learn this new method. He wants to cling to how he did things before, with his old camera. He finally ran out of steam and went outside to smoke up the front of the shop. I helped the other gentleman. At least he was polite. He just wanted his computer back. I deal with a lot of security issues in this line of work, from sketchy downloads to running XP, but that was the first time I had experienced such severe mental insecurity. Thank you. Next. This is a short one that happened earlier today. Some context. Everyone in our office recently moved to different spots in the building, as the office is being renovated. As a result, people's temporary workstations ended up with a random phone from the pile of our desk phones. Like a lot of office phones, you can sign your extension into any of them, which my users know and have been taught how to do themselves. Me, guy, not very observant user. Bob, innocent victim. Guy, hey pepperoni tits, there's something wrong with my phone. I keep getting calls asking for Bob, and someone told me when I called them, it showed up on caller ID that Bob was calling. Can you fix this? Me, sure guy, I'll be up in a minute. I turn to Bob, who sits next to me for the time being. Me, have you noticed anything goofy with your calls? Bob, no, other than I'm not getting as many as normal. So I ask our network engineer if they had any idea on why calls would be going to the wrong user, or caller ID showing the wrong caller, to which he informed me there wasn't any call forwarding / etc. He also informed me that guy wasn't currently signed into any phones at all. I let out an audible sigh, already knowing what I was going to find when I walked to guy's desk. So I go up to his desk, and sure enough, at the top of the phone display where it shows a current user signed in, it says Bob's name. I got guy signed in, and walked back to my desk wondering what it's like to have self-sufficient users. Thank you. Next. So I work as desktop support. I have for many years now. Depending on how well this goes, I will post more stories as I keep a journal of ID10T errors. So I've been with this company for about 2 years now and this story still makes me laugh but also makes my blood boil. I work in a secure area that you have to have a badge to get into. A person from the help desk brings back this lady with a laptop that is complaining. She is complaining about not being able to access her network drive or her documents on the network. Within 2 seconds of looking at her laptop, I see the problem. She has airplane mode on. Me, oh okay, you have airplane mode on. That kills the wireless connection so you don't have access to the network. Lady, no I don't. I turned it off. Me, a bit confused. No, pointing at the airplane icon in the bottom left, see this? You have it on. Lady doesn't even look. Thank you. Next. I originally posted this to r/idawk heraldry but they said you all should like it over here as well. I'm not tech support for computers, but I am a tech of sorts, a service technician for the gas company. I'm also the only female service technician for the gas company. This leads to confusion on a daily basis. So, I arrived to a 9:12 appointment the other day at 9:05 am. Super simple job. Exchange gas meter, inspect gas equipment in the house, relight equipment, then be on my way to my next call. We get 30 minutes allotted for each job like this, but dispatch understands that this doesn't always work. Sometimes it takes 15 minutes if the old meter was installed well and the gas equipment is all new, but sometimes it takes 3 hours if I have to rebuild their whole service and coax an old boiler back to life. I grab my tools out of the truck, grab a new meter, and head to the front door. The call says hazard, dog, so I figure it's best to check in with the customer before I head into the yard. I knock and ring the doorbell, no answer, so I pull the customer's number off of the call and give him a ring. Me, good morning. This is Functioneer Ernda from the gas company. You have a meter exchange appointment booked for this morning. Is anyone at home? Customer, not at the moment. Is the tech there already? Me, yes, sir. I'm here at address. Will you be home soon? Customer, yes. Tell the tech to wait. I'll be home in about 15 minutes. Me, okay, I'll wait for you. Can I start working in the yard or is your dog outside? But the customer just hangs up, so I decide to wait. Anyway, it's -28°C, -40 with the wind chill. I'm bundled up, but I'm going to be outside all day so I decide to wait in the truck to preserve my warmth. I drop my tools and the new meter off at the gate to the yard and sit in my truck until the customer pulls into the driveway. When the customer arrives, I immediately shut my truck off and jog over to the house. Customer: so, I spoke with someone in the office and they said the tech was already here. Where is he? I have to get back to work soon. I can't wait here all morning. Me: I am the tech, sir, and that was me that you spoke with. If you're all good, I'll get that meter changed out for you, then get your furnace and water heater going. Customer: well, if you say so. But if that's the case, where are your tools? Me: over by the gate. I left them there so they'd be ready to go when you got here. Customer: okay. Say, how long have you been doing this? Me: this specifically? A little over a year. Working in the industry? Almost 9 years. Customer: okay. Go ahead. You don't have anyone coming to help you? Me: no, sir. This is a very simple job. I should be able to have it done in 15-20 minutes or so. And the call said you have a dangerous dog. Is it contained? Customer: he is a 12-year-old beagle. You're fine. I don't know why anyone thought he was dangerous. So I could have started almost 3/4 of an hour ago at this point, and my next 2 calls were in jeopardy because of how long I'd been here at this point. I get to work, and sure enough, his meter set is in pretty rough shape. I pull the meter off, with some difficulty and my largest wrenches, and then start cranking some of the bad fittings out so I can rebuild part of the set to make this job easier the next time we have to change the meter, and generally safer. He was leaning over my shoulder the whole time, continually asking if I was sure I know what I'm doing, if I really don't need to call for help. I got my fitting done, and went inside. Sure enough, the gas equipment was all high efficiency, so all it took was a couple resets to clear out the air from the lines and it all fired up perfectly. The call took about an hour once I actually had my tools on, which is a little longer than anticipated, but a very good time frame for the work I wound up having to do to leave the place in a safe condition. A very good time frame, mind you, for any tech who could have had the call. As I was gathering my things to go, he got one last jab in. You know, I would really appreciate it if they would actually send a real tech next time. I don't feel comfortable having one of the office girls doing this kind of work for me. I'm going to have a word with gas company and tell them as much. Me: sir, for the last time, I am a qualified service technician. TL. Doctor: customer didn't believe I could be a service tech since I'm a girl. I also look a fair bit younger than my 27 years. The next customer was a very sweet old lady who met me at the door and immediately presented me with muffins. They told me you were coming even though it should be illegal to work in this temperature. I made muffins. Take them. You deserve it. They really shouldn't be making you work in this.